we'll finish off the East Conference. I'm glad you weren't on my one, so it's good.
I,
So we've got the Mullhead division. It's okay. I slagged myself off for you.
I hope so, Johnny. I'll be
So
watching
we
it
got a
back
bit.
to make sure.
So bit of a sore one from the Newcastle Colts losing to the Solihull Sharks.
It was,
But-
it was.
So that'd be
That's
a.
relative.
They were on a good run before that, but
They were, but five. It keeps the Solihull Sharks well and truly alive, and Sean was in the dogfight anyway, but it was a big one to lose.
uh,
But I'll tell you what's a bigger one: the Preston Panthers beating the Waterorton Warriors, 8-1, flying,
well,
and it's 197 to 195. That's one that a score
uh,
correction could change.
and also the Harrow Harlequins against the Near Knights. That's
Correct. That's
less.
even
That's like
closer.
0.14, and also you've got Gary could get his one against the Dove
Yes,
Rookies if that goes as well, because there's only a point in that. This
it could.
this league could just go. I think that's the only. Yeah, that's basically it.
Absolutely up
So you've
and
got
down.
three games
So,
that could easily change on
and
Thursday.
it could easily
And if
change.
they do, I do apologise, but it's got nothing to do with me.
Well, that's
So
it's. I mean, it's like the thing. Do you know what the difference here is as well? But it's like, see for Joe and his near nights. If that score correction happens, it's the difference between 5-5 and 4-6. It's the
yeah,
difference between being 500 or being 2 games off it, and that's it's a difference between being in it and not being in it,
and
really.
there's also a difference in the fact, obviously, that what the Harrow could be 2 games ahead of six Newcastle and six, but then there'll still be 1 game back. Preston Panthers, their game's not going to get turned over.
No,
But then the Dove Rookies could go back to six, and they could go to 6-4 if they get theirs turned over.
it's
Preston
not fair
Panthers
for
go
the
back 4-5 to Warner.
at this stage. It's
No, it's
just not
not.
fair.
But
It's just not fair. But a good one for
no,
Dublin Everton Blues. They're up to 2 wins now. That's 2 wins in a row now, up to 7-3, looking good. Leicester Tigers, of course, bouncing back from their loss and now catching and overtaking Waterorton Warriors at the top of the division, both
but
on
then
82.
if that score, then the score correction could put Waterloo back on top, but and secure their place actually,
Yeah,
basically. So yeah,
and secure
it's
and
going to be.
place for
I'm,
sure.
I'm scared to look at the scores on Thursday. But
Honestly, it'll be ridiculous if these games get over. It'll be ridiculous if these scores get overturned. But it is what it is. I'm afraid it's you just need to run with it, roll with the punches, and hope that it's a blip that they'll fix for next season and stop doing the score changes and just call it. But I mean, everyone down
yeah,
to 8-5 is on at least 500. So, and even the Solihull Sharks
it's,
at 4-6, not dead at all on him. Won last week, so it's all to play for down there as well. It's very much all to play for, and let's just hope that these score corrections don't come in and start messing things around. What have we
I
got?
know it'd be a shame if it does. So
There's some big games
who's have we
next
covered
week
in
as
there?
well. If you look at the top two next week, you get Leicester Tigers playing Dublin Everton Blues. I mean, at 7-3, you don't mind. You can take the loss at 7-3. It's you're 7-4. You're still favourite get in. There's still 3 weeks to go, and one more win should get you there. But you get if they go 8-3 and Leicester Tigers go to 8-3, now all of a sudden you're thinking I can top this division. So big game there, and the same goes for the next one, Waterton Warriors and Workshop Doth Rookies, 7-3, 8-2 as well. It's so
Well,
they're big games for them.
the tie of the week is my tie of the week is the Newcastle Colts against the Near Knights. So
Well, other than the
Sean
fact
against
that it's
Roddy.
a home
Sean
league,
against.
other than the fact that it's a home league derby, they are 5-5, five and
Yeah, but
five,
they're basically playing for sixth spot,
and
depending
it's
on how things go. So
both
yeah,
of them at 5-5. It's a massive game in terms of you're coming into 3 games to go. You get that win ahead of the other, massive. But I tell Solihull Sharks and Harrow Harlequins, the Sharks need to win that as well. At 4-6, you need to start. You don't want to go into the last 3 games saying I must win all three to have any chance. And at 4-6, even at that 7-6, I'm not sure 7 will get you there. So really, Solihull Sharks, it's a must win or win or bust. And Harlow Harlequins at 6-5, you don't want dragged into that. battle for the last couple of spots, you know. So big game for both of them.
Definitely. Solihull Charts had a good score this week, but then so did Harlequin, so
And
it should be a good match. But yeah, I am looking forward to the Newcastle Colts, mainly because it is a home leaguer, but
yeah, it's a home
it's
leader, but
also
it's massive.
close.
They could be playing for the last spot, as you say, you know. But the Preston Panthers should win this week against Gary, get themselves to 6-5, put themselves
Should.
in the hunt, right in the hunt, you know. So, I mean, this is going to go to the final week. This division, there's just too many. There's too many there for it not to.
Well, actually, we're saying that obviously the Newcastle Colts and Air Knights are playing for sixth spot, but then the Preston Panthers outscore them by 50 points. They'd jump above them if they
And
win.
that's, you know, it's
So
you know, the Preston Panthers should win this week, so
it's
they
good.
will be going above one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I just meant how many points you score. That's all it is. But yeah,
Fifth still on is, you
it's
know,
a
fifth
good.
at 6-4, and even the 7-3s. The 7-3s could lose two games in a row, and all of a sudden they're 7-5, and you know, tied with
Water Orton are playing against the Dort Rookies, so that'd be 6-7-6. Yeah.
and Dublin Everton Blues have got Leicester Tigers, so it's, you know, they're both playing against teams that are above them in the league this week. So it's big games for them, and I know that you can afford the loss at 7-3. You can, but you know,
But then
you want to get there as quickly as
depends who you're
possible.
playing after that. So
It's when you're
yeah,
playing
you
this,
want to secure the
they're
playoffs.
playing the top two teams, so they'll have they're getting the top teams out of the way, you know. So you know they've got, but then you know Workshop are playing Preston Panthers in week 12, and that, you know, if they should win this week, go 6-5. Then all of a sudden it's, you know, they're looking and thinking I can catch you this week. So yeah, I mean
Yes.
there are tough ones to come for them, but you know at seven and
So
five,
that's if you look at the points, so like the Rookies have only scored 1,600 points.
yeah.
The nearest to them below them would be the bottom team.
Yeah, they've been they've come
That's
up
the
against.
only team that score less. They've obviously come up with good matchups.
I mean, do you know what?
So
You know what I always say, Johnny. You can only beat what's in front of you, and that's it. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of fantasy NFL as well, and that you can only beat what's in front of you. And sometimes you're going to come up against a stinker of, like, you're going to have a bad week and win, and sometimes you're going to have a great week and lose.
yeah,
And it just makes that's what makes it so sweet, you know. So yeah, you can be sitting in fourth spot on 7-3 with just 1,671 points.
but then when it comes to the playoffs and the and the Scarborough Cup, it goes on points scored
And you know,
to get to the final. So then that's where you want your team to score.
but you know, once you come to the playoffs, it's,
So
you know, you're in a completely different part of the league season. Then, you know, you've got players who weren't playing well now playing well, players who were playing absolutely brilliant. I mean, how many times does the 8th seed beat the first seed in our home league? It's like all the time,
too
to the
many.
point where it's not even a surprise anymore, you know? There's more 8 seeds won
That's
our
because
home league
that's
than
because they bought us in the playoffs.
it's,
So,
you know, you go in and your players all of a sudden stop play, you know, they're not playing anymore. They come up against a hard, they've got a hard matchup, whereas you know, the 8th spot's got a better matchup games and they win. It happens all the time. It's all about get in and take it from there. And get in as soon as humanly
yes.
possible so you don't need to sit and worry about it.